Skill-based matchmaking is coming back in some way, shape, or form in Destiny 2. There, we've gone ahead and gotten the clickbait out of the way. What's going on, Guardians? TBL here, and yeah, you heard it right. You read that title correctly. And we're going to get into explaining exactly what it means. We got our Bungie Weekly blog, This Week at Bungie, for the week of July 20th, 2017. And it talked, of course, about the Destiny 2 beta, which is going on this week. It's been a very, very fun beta, a very productive beta, in my opinion. We've gotten a really, really good look at what Destiny 2 is going to offer. There's some good stuff, like the new overall direction of the story. The strikes are great. The story missions like Homecoming, if there's more story missions like that, they're fantastic. The new 4v4 PvP actually feels pretty fun. I'm actually enjoying Countdown. It's like a better version of what Trials already offers. Really been getting into that lately with my boy Black Fox and Gen X 100 and a couple of other boys, and we've been just having a great time in that. But there's also been a little bit of bad in the Destiny 2 beta. Stuff like power ammo never dropping and you barely ever actually using a power weapon in PvE. Stuff like your grenades taking forever to recharge. And, you know, you getting like maybe one super over the course of a PvP game, or one or two supers over the course of an entire strike, which is a very, very, very big difference to what we were experiencing in Destiny 1. And of course, matchmaking. Matchmaking has been a little on the spoopy side, not too bad, I'll be perfectly honest. I haven't had too many issues with the matchmaking in Destiny 2's PvP, at least here in the beta, but it's been a little bit spooky. Every now and again I'll get a super laggy Arc Strider Hunter who is almost just like impossible to take down in that freaking super. But we are here today to talk a bit about some of the things we learned from the Bungie Weekly blog this week, because of course they covered the beta, they covered some really interesting things. They said that they're going to be tuning, or rather that they already have tuned, the way PvE is going to be working with some of your cooldowns. Grenades are going to be tuned to be doing more damage, ammo is going to be tuned so that it drops more often. I'll have a different video coming out talking about that later. What this video is about is the second half of the Bungie Weekly blog, which had Deej taking things over to the Crucible design lead Lars Bakken, who talked to us a little bit about the way matchmaking is going to be working in Destiny 2 and what exactly we can expect from it. And so, with giving you guys the too long didn't read version, there's going to be some form of skill-based matchmaking back. Now, to be perfectly fair, they did kind of say some of the things they've said before. The matchmaking is going to be the same as what it is in the beta right now. So if you're enjoying the way matchmaking's working, if you're getting into a lot of really pristine matches, you probably have nothing to fear. But they did make mention that while connections will be the leading factor to determine who you get matched with, skill will have a component. I'm going to go ahead and read the quote directly from Lars Bakken here. "We really hope you're enjoying the beta. Even though it's just a taste of the full game, we believe it delivers a good preview of what you'll experience this fall. As you play your first matches in the Destiny 2 Crucible, you're probably wondering about how matchmaking will work. Before we dive into the details, allow me to share our core design principles for the Crucible in Destiny 2. 1. Provide a great experience for players who enjoy competitive PvP activities. And 2. Ensure that players who enjoy PvP have fair and fun matches. We're designing the Crucible for people who live for that competitive fire that wells up in their soul every time they're challenged. That's important for us. So, what's new for matchmaking in Destiny 2? The obvious PvP evolutions are the 4v4 format and the 2 consolidated playlists. We hope these changes have a good impact on game quality. Destiny 2 Crucible matchmaking places a far greater emphasis on connection quality, but make no mistake, skill is still a big component in finding worthy opponents for you to fight. When all these systems are singing in unison, it should help us reach our ultimate goal, to give all players, regardless of their skill, the best possible experience. While the new quick play and competitive modes are designed to serve different moods, they are using the same matchmaking settings in the beta. We'll be able to tune these separately post-beta, and your playtesting will help us going forward. For those of you who are wondering, we bucket you separately depending on the playlist, so your quick play skill is tracked separately from your competitive skill. Again, the too long didn't read version of it is that we're always trying to make sure your connection is solid, while also making sure we give you as fair a match as possible. Thanks again for helping us beta test the game. We'll see you Starside. And there you go, Guardians, from the horse's mouth itself. There's going to be some component of skill factoring, skill weighing in the Destiny 2 matchmaking, not just in the competitive game mode of Countdown, but also in the quick play game mode, which is meant to be the more casual game mode. This is the game mode where you'll be playing games like probably Supremacy, Clash, Control, like what we've got here in the beta. And I've got to say, this is definitely language we've heard before. Every time they talk about matchmaking, they always say, oh, you know, well, we always take connection first, and then we let skill kind of work its way out. But skill is a component there, and we've seen kind of how the matchmaking can somewhat pan out in Destiny 1. I told you guys plenty of times. I can see who's pinging my connections during matches in Destiny 1, and I get people from like across the pond over in Europe, the United Arab Emirates, halfway across the world, getting the world host, hosting a match with me in PvP in Destiny 1. And so when I read stuff like this from Lars, saying that it's going to be a very similar system to what we've got in Destiny 1, that does worry me a little bit. Now, they did come forward a few months ago and say that stuff like the world host is going to be hosted on Bungie servers, so it's going to be a little bit of a server-based matchmaking there, where they've got a bit of a dedicated server, at least for your perspective to the world, but your peer-to-peer connections, your actions compared to other players' actions, is still going to be P2P, and that worries me whenever we take any kind of skill weighing into the matchmaking settings. But to be fair, in Destiny 2, at least in the matches that I've played over the past few days, I really haven't had too many bad matches. There's been a few occasions where a couple of warlocks or hunters hit me when I was clearly around a corner, behind cover, or even when I was playing as a warlock inside my empowering rift, supposedly getting my health back. There's been a bit of that bullet curving and hitting me like that, and certainly I've run into quite a few laggy Arcstrider hunters, and believe me, when you run into a laggy Arcstrider when they're just jumping around all over the place, they are very, very difficult to take out. So while the majority of my playtime has been pretty darn good, I am a bit worried about this philosophy because of the way it affected PvP matchmaking in Destiny 1. I'm not somebody who's super duper skilled. I'm not Rumbledore. I'm not Triple Wreck. I'm not any of those guys, but I have played Destiny for a very long time. My stats are pretty high up there, and I can tell you from first-hand experience that the matchmaking that I get in Destiny 1 is kind of laughable sometimes. It gets pretty bad with the way that the game kind of manages my skill versus the skill of my opponents. It will very often just ignore the geographical location of the people that it's matching me with because they are of a similar skill level. And I really don't want to see that happen in Destiny 2, especially now that we have a quick play playlist and a competitive playlist. The competitive playlist is there for competitive game modes. That's the playlist for people who want to go through skill-based matchmaking and fight people who are explicitly on or above their skill level. The quick play playlist is for the casual people, the people who just want to get in, have a little bit of fun, and get out. And connection, in my opinion, should absolutely be the #1 and really only defining factor for the kinds of matches you get. So it does worry me, it makes me scratch my head a little bit when I see that they're going to be having a skill element in the matchmaking for the quick play playlist as well. And it's kind of weird since those playlists are going to be separate, and they mention in this blog update that the playlists are going to have their own skill weighing. So your stats and skill level in the quick play playlist is going to be considered separately from your stats and skill level in the competitive playlist. So really it seems like they've got everything they need there to separate the quick play playlist as its own connection-based game mode for the casuals, and the competitive playlist as being the super sweaty, skill-based matchmaking algorithm playlist. And I don't know why they're still kind of following that sort of philosophy in both game modes. At least as of right now, we're just going to have to wait and see exactly how it's going to play out when Destiny 2 officially comes out. But like I said before, for the most part, I'm actually enjoying PvP in Destiny 2. It's been a pretty fun time, and I haven't had too many laggy issues to complain home about. But then again, on the flip side, that's also because this is a beta, and not everybody out there has it right now. But anyways, Guardians, that's the news, and that's it for this video. How do you feel about this? Do you think that there should be no skill weighing in at least the quick play playlist, or do you think that it should be there to maybe protect some people who are on the lower end of the skill spectrum from getting caught in matches with pub stompers like me? Right. However you feel, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. I hope you guys are enjoying the Destiny 2 beta. There's a lot to love about it, but there's also a lot to criticize, and we'll be having more videos of that coming out later this week. But I'm out for now. Thanks so much for watching, Guardians. As always, I'm TheBlackLink. You Guardians, stay frosty.